After Indiana Jones and the Great Circle's huge gameplay reveal trailer, there's been so much hype and speculation surrounding the game, whether it be story-driven or release date. But for me, as a huge Indy fan, the biggest speculation is the possible characters we could see make an appearance from some of my favorite Indy films. Here are our top 5 cameos from the Indiana Jones franchise we could see in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Yo, this your boy James over XpectoGO, bringing you guys fun and positive gaming content. Let's start with the confirmed cameos of Marcus Brody. Shown in the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle's gameplay reveal trailer, Dr. Marcus Brody is a British archaeologist, historian, and lecturer who is close friends with the Jones family, having attended Oxford with Henry Jones, Indy's father, and of course friends with Indiana Jones himself, with both working as colleagues at Marshall College. Brody is also a curator at the National Museum, a location also shown in the Great Circle trailer where Indy encounters a gigantic and mysterious figure. Marcus' role in the game looks to be that of a support role for Indy, both in a professional and personal manner, with him even saying,
"Can't just run away from your problems, Indiana."
Now, if you didn't know, Brody was introduced to the franchise in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which took place a year before this game actually takes place in 1936. Brilliantly played, by the way, by the charming and now past Mr. Elliot as an ambitious lover of history who's past his prime. He even tells Indy in the first film that he would go after the Ark of the Covenant himself if he were 10 years younger. The third movie, which takes place after the Great Circle around 1938, introduced a different layer to the character, with Marcus deciding to actually accompany Indy on his quest to find the Holy Grail and, of course, Indy's father in The Last Crusade. Brody was hilarious to me and definitely the comic relief of the films, but the character has lived in the expanded material and looks to carry that charm, ambition, and even comedic timing in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The events in the Great Circle game could narratively lead to that different layer of Marcus we saw in The Last Crusade. The archaeologist who's past his prime is now an archaeologist going out on adventures with Indy. Speaking of The Last Crusade, another cameo we should see in the Great Circle is one of my favorites, Salah. Salah is the best digger in all of Egypt and a loyal friend to Indiana Jones. Now, the Egyptian pyramids are a confirmed location in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and the possible location where the beginning scene takes place, where we find Indy buried underground. So, Salah should make an appearance, having a similar and as important role in the game as in the first film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Salah gave Indy important inside information about the happenings at the Nazi dig site at Tanis, eventually leading to them learning the location of the Well of Souls and the retrieving of the Ark of the Covenant. The lovable John Rhys-Davies as Salah brought warmth and fun to the first Indiana Jones film with that charisma and memorable laugh, returning again in the third film, The Last Crusade, when he helped in Indy's quest, again, like with Brody, for the Holy Grail. Like Brody, he was also a comedic relief several times in those films, but in the Great Circle, I could see him kind of being more informative and with a ton of exposition, and even having the muscle while on location in Egypt, hopefully helping us take down more Nazis, exploring the pyramids with us, and offering levity like in those past films. Next up on our list, Henry Jones Sr., played by the masterful and legendary Sean Connery as the father of Indiana Jones. Actually, if you didn't know, Indiana Jones' real name is Henry Jones Jr.
That's his name, Henry Jones Jr.
Like Indiana.
We named the dog Indiana.
May we go home now, please?
The dog? You are named after the dog?
But only James Bond could play the father of Indiana Jones, said director Steven Spielberg after the casting of Sean Connery. And with Connery and Harrison Ford's chemistry being so natural and tremendous, it would be amazing to revisit that in the Great Circle game. The back and forth bickering, the physical approach to combat from Indy, and the mental approach from Henry, and of course to hear
Junior?
Yes, sir.
It is you, Junior.
Don't call me that, please.
Oh my gosh, I'd lose it. That being said, since the game's timeline takes place before The Last Crusade, where Henry Jones Sr. made his first appearance, there's a small likelihood Henry would appear based on canon, since he could already be looking for the Holy Grail before being eventually captured, which these events led into the third movie. I'm not giving up hope though. A phone call, a picture, or a letter from Papa Jones is all I'll need if we are unable to have Henry and Indy face to face in the Great Circle. Another Indiana Jones character who I'd love Indy to come face to face with in the Great Circle is his trusty sidekick from the Temple of Doom, Short Round. Played by then young Ke Huy Quan, Short Round was introduced in the Temple of Doom film, a prequel to Raiders that took place in 1935, 2 years before the Great Circle. That being said, there's a very high possibility of seeing Short Round in the game based on the extended Indiana Jones canon, where Shorty actually ended up in an American boarding school and still paired up with Indiana Jones for the occasional adventure or two, maintaining their friendship well into the 1950s, again based on the extended canon. I can see Short Round visiting Indy during school break, maybe even sitting in on one of Indiana's classes during that break. We as Indy can have a small interaction with Short Round where he wants to join us on our eventual in-game adventure, and we as Indy just say you have school or something. That would be a short and sweet cameo in my opinion, allowing us fans of the franchise to see one of the most popular Indiana Jones characters of all time in game. And then lastly, a not so well-known character, Harold Oxley. Harold Oxley, aka Ox, attended the University of Chicago with fellow student Indiana Jones as well as Marion. Oxley, during his research into El Dorado, believed that the pyramid builders of the Americas were somehow connected to those of the Middle East, which we just touched on pyramids earlier. Since again, the pyramids of Egypt are confirmed in locations, Ox or Oxley would be a cool cameo that again tied into the Indiana Jones lore, providing a unique relationship amongst all of the cameos mentioned, since he was the only one who went to school with Indy. That dynamic would be very interesting to explore narratively and provide a depth to the character we didn't get a chance to see in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But that being said, as a fan of the Indiana Jones franchise, I'm happy that we're getting this game, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and just excited to crack that whip, rock the fedora, and see what puzzles and adventures and even fights we will get into as the legendary character Indiana Jones. But I still would like to see at least one of these characters in game outside of Brody during our adventures in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. That being said, what cameos would you like to see portrayed in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle game coming out late 2024? Comment below, let me know. And let's talk some Indiana Jones. Thank you guys so much for watching the video and hanging out with your boy. If you enjoyed it, be sure to check out our video to the right over here, where we break down everything you need to know so far concerning Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time.